गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Om. In the 6th chapter, 29th shloka, we were discussing Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam. So the yoga, the phala. Yoga means concentration. Okay. Concentration means mind withdraws. Not only concentration, it also means withdrawing from the external objects. When the mind withdraws from the external objects, it stays in the Atman. That's all. This is what is Nididhyasana. Mind gets detached from the external things. Okay, mind gets detached from the external objects and thoughts. Objects means through sense organs, thoughts means through mind. When mind loses interest in them, by understanding that they are not real, they don't give you what they appear to be giving you. The happiness, security, none of them they give you. They are not lasting also. So by understanding the nature of very perception means sense organs coming in contact with the external objects, mind in thinking about the external things. Whatever experiences they produce, those experiences are only sensations. They are only sensations. They are not the real nature of Atma. Those experiences don't represent the real nature of Atma. The real Atma is independent of them. And these experiences are misrepresenting Atma. We identify with sense organs and mind, and the experiences that are brought by the sense organs and mind, various experiences brought by sense organs and mind, we get attached to those experiences. The emotions, the experiences they bring, we identify with them. This identification is a false identity of Atma. That means they don't represent the true nature of Atma, they are only Adhyasa. Adhyasa means the misrepresentation of Atma. So since it is a false experience of Atma, a false experience of Atma, so we always get cheated. We always feel something is missing. We never feel satisfied with them, though they promise, tempt, attract, and also addict. Though they don't give you the real nature of Atma, yet they addict. They addict us. Addict means you become habituated to them. See, it's a very strange thing. The alcohol drinking, though it doesn't give you real peace of mind and joy of mind, yet it addicts. Not only it gives a tentative, a sensation, a snubbing of the mind, numbing of the mind. Certain things you can become careless and you can become free, that you don't have to worry certain things. It gives you certain state of mind. Not only it gives you a tentative relief from the tension of the mind, but it also addicts. Okay. Similarly, sense pleasures and also the mental experiences, emotions and all, they appear, they are a poor replacement of Atma. They don't represent the true nature of Atma. They are the poor replacement of Atma. But unfortunately, we get addicted to them, attached to them, identify with them, Though they are not satisfying, they don't give you freedom and joy, yet for want of other things keep on sticking to them. Therefore, by viveka, by understanding, one should get detached from these experiences. These experiences are highly delusional, highly illusory. Illusory means they are not capable of what they appear to be. What they tempt, what they promise, they will not give. But they only seem to be more attractive. They seem to be promising more than what they are capable of. Because the very identification with that experience itself gives you poor one at the cost of the real truth. At the cost of real nature of Atma, they give you a poor plastic one. At the cost of real plantain, they give you a plastic plantain. At the cost of real mango, they give you a plastic mango. At the cost of a real sweet, they give you a plastic sweet. See how it is dangerous. This is what it is. So, these illusions are commonly present. This is what we call in our traditional language as Maya, Moha, Maya, Moha. This is there in human life. Most of the people, highly educated, intelligent, also fall for it, because it has nothing to do with intelligence and all. It is to do with your maturity, spiritual maturity. You may be intelligent, you may be highly good thinker, but when it comes to this life, the fact of life, we miss the life and get attached to falsity. Like Brahma, like when the sky, when you look at the sky seems to be round and blue. It has nothing to do with intelligent or unintelligent. Everybody makes a mistake. Everybody takes the sky to be really blue and sky to be round. It is like a blue shamiana, blue cloth, blue umbrella held over our head. This appearance is a falsity. Who sees this? Everybody sees. Whether educated or illiterate, whether good or bad, anybody sees it. So it is a common misunderstanding. Similarly, there is a common misunderstanding about the very nature of Atma. Atma is oneself. Who am I? What is my real nature? I miss my real nature and I tend to take myself as an individual. As an individual, I am bound to sense organs, bound to body, bound to the mind and intellect. So the whatever experiences these sense organs present to me, the perception, sense perception present to me, mental experiences present to me, and intellectual ideas present to me. Whatever they present to me, I take those experiences as something great, and I take myself to be a person who is subject to, who is identified with these things and going through various experiences as an experiencer, as an individual. As an experiencer, as an individual. I think my sense of individuality, my sense of doership and experiencership itself is a great. This is my real identity. I tell you, every moment we are missing. There is a great misunderstanding. Great in the sense, it is serious misunderstanding. Great in the sense, it is a serious misunderstanding, and it is all pervasive misunderstanding. It is underlying all our experiences, all our life. Throughout our life, it has been there. This is a commonly underlying misunderstanding, which is pervading all our experiences of good and bad, all our experiences of right and wrong and good and bad and all great and small. All our life, it is an underlying our entire life. That means your worldly achievements, intellectual achievements, physical, social, all kinds of achievements are no exception to this misunderstanding. This misunderstanding is commonly underlying to all our experiences. Therefore, a person who is mature enough to understand these things, by discovering, by analyzing the very nature of experience, that as long as I take myself to be an individual, identify with the body, mind and sense organs, it is inevitable to undergo these experiences. It is inevitable to be always with these false experiences. False experiences. So the experiences may be tempting, but they are false, not it. They are tempting, they are attractive, they are addicting, but they are false. So we generally don't look at whether they are real experiences or false experiences. We go by the tempting nature. We go by their attraction. We go by their a little bit of pleasure they promise. They give you also. Senses give you, mind gives you certain emotional pleasure. Senses give you certain sense pleasure, sensations. Mind gives you emotional. Intellect gives you some kind of intellectual pleasure. So this pleasure, this security, this really tempting, this is highly attractive, but it is a highly cheating. It is an illusory. It is attractive but illusory. This is a very, very complex thing. One side it is attractive, another side it is illusory. An illusion, an illusory thing, an illusion but is attractive is more dangerous. An attractive thing is not illusory, that's different. But what is it is illusory at the same time attractive. Okay, it is illusory but attractive. So person has to understand. Don't go by others. The society, all the people, highly educated, intelligent, they also fall for this. They go for these tempting experiences rather than understanding that it is illusory and give up, de-identify with it and discover your inner true nature. Your true nature, which is free from illusion, free from misunderstanding. What I am. What I am is my real nature. That has to be discovered. I don't fall for this illusory nature. Illusory experiences, illusory individuality. My own individuality is an illusion of my real nature. My real nature is free from this kind of illusory nature. My illusory nature as an individual is a problem. Problem means it has got a double thing, double-edged weapon. It is attractive. It gives you, seems to be giving little pleasure. See, if there is all pain, nobody would go for it. But in between it gives you little pleasure, but a lot of pain. So we tend to accept to tolerate lot of pain for sake of little pleasure. For sake of little, see, in all negative things, see in corrupt money, in illegal money, or in smuggling, in all these things, there is a pain and suffering, but the money is attractive. So lot of suffering, but there is a little attraction. So for sake of little comfort, little pleasure, and little ego satisfaction, and we undergo a lot of suffering for sake of little ego satisfaction. Even emotional relationship also, for sake of little emotional pleasure, we don't mind going after any man or any woman and giving up all values, and we lose our dignity as a human being. We become too cheap because this pleasure, this emotional pleasure, physical pleasure is too tempting. It is too dangerous. It is highly harmful. It kills my viveka. It kills my understanding, but it is highly tempting. Okay? It kills my real understanding, real thinking, but it is tempting. Because the tempting attracts us so much and makes us inhuman. But we go by attraction rather than that the human understanding, human value and viveka. Viveka is understanding. So we sacrifice understanding. We sacrifice real understanding. But we don't mind even if it is illusory, but a tempting nature of these experiences. These tempting experiences are more attractive. So this attraction is ultimately winning at the cost of our real wisdom. Okay, so it is a competition between that illusory attraction and non-attractive, but the truth. Truth may not be attractive. Truth is not tempting, but it is there, bare truth. It doesn't tempt you. It doesn't attract you, doesn't force you. The truth itself liberates you from many evils, many frustrations, many problems. But truth has no attraction because truth has its own beauty. It doesn't have cheap attraction. See, good things have no cheap attraction, but bad things have highly attractive. Like see, gold may not be so much shining, but a rolled gold shines more than the real gold. Okay, rolled gold shines more than the real gold. What shines more is more tempting, more dangerous. Okay, the real gold may not shine so much, but that's real. So the reality may not be tempting. It is not tempting at all. But what is tempting so much is highly dangerous. This viveka is most important, and human being needs it. This is where the spiritual life lies. Spirituality is viveka. It is unlike all other people. Most of the people go by their attractions alone. The real wise man not gets tempted by attractions, not gets tempted by these attractive things. He goes by fact. He goes by the truth. Truth liberates you. Understanding the truth liberates you. What tempts you more often misleads you. What tempts more often misleads. A truth is not a tempting and attractive, but it liberates. Okay? Truth is not a tempting. Truth is not attractive, but it liberates. It makes you really free. But what binds you is more attractive. Bondage is attractive, tempting, attractive, and it offers a little bit of sensational pleasure too. But it binds you. A bondage is attractive, and liberation has no attraction. We should learn, we should grow mature enough to be able to distinguish this and to be able to opt for the truth, though it is not attractive, and not get tempted by these attractive things, because they bind us. They shine, they tempt, they attract, look more beautiful. Okay? They look more beautiful, but tempt us and bind us. Okay? They trap us. Attractive, but trap us. This is very rare to find. Most of the people go by temptations, go by attractions, and they think that it is attractive, therefore it is great. It is tempting me, it is attracting me, it is pulling me, therefore it is great. What pulls me is great. See, the scale of understanding itself is wrong. That's why most of the people fall for it. What is attractive? Illusion attracts. A false thing attracts. People think it is attracting me, therefore it is great. This very measurement that what is attractive is great is really highly illusory thing. Okay? What is attractive is not great. But the truth is not attractive. But that alone is great because that liberates us. People have to distinguish it. In Kathopanishad says one thing. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah. He uses the word Shreya and Preya. What is good is not very attractive. But what is attractive is, what is tempting is not good for you. Shreyascha preyascha. Preya is attractive. Pleasing and attractive. Pleasing and attractive. But Shreyas is not attractive, but that is really truth that gives you real peace and happiness. That gives you real peace and liberation. It is not attractive, but that gives you peace and happiness. Peace is not attractive. Freedom is not attractive. But this sensation is attractive. It binds, yet it attractive. This is the most important thing. People should be able to distinguish it. People have to grow mature enough. And there lies the real maturity, real wisdom of a human being. Upanishad says, Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. The real wise man, Real intelligent man distinguishes it, knows their nature. So even though it is attractive, it doesn't fall for it. Even though the freedom is not attractive, still he opts for it. Peace and freedom. Peace and freedom is not attractive, but that alone really liberates you, and he chooses it. But what is attractive, it traps, but it is attractive. It is elusive, but attractive. The attraction is illusory, yet he won't get attracted to it. This wisdom is the real wisdom. This is the real spiritual wisdom. This is what human being has to learn. Okay? The struggle of life. The struggle of life is between these two. The freedom, which is not attractive, but it is attractive, and it is a trapping. Attractive is a trap. Freedom doesn't attract you. It's a painful. You have to choose the freedom without any attraction. The peace, you have to choose the peace and freedom, which is not attractive. It is in a way painful also. You have to make certain sacrifices. You have to make certain sacrifices of pleasures, emotions, all these things you have to make sacrifices. But all the sacrifices are worth making to achieve the peace and freedom. Okay? The real peace of the Atma, the freedom of Atma, the peace of Atma, because the peace and freedom comes in knowing the truth. Truth has no attraction. Falsity alone is a very shining. Falsity is glittering. False is glittering, but it is glittering, tempting, and binding also. But truth, the knowledge of the truth, has no attraction. But it is a sure peace and freedom. It gives you peace and freedom, but has no attraction. People have to choose. People should grow mature enough to be able to choose between them. If you can choose freedom, peace, though it is not attractive, ready to do some sacrifices. Not only you make some sacrifice, the old habit, the habit in the mind of getting attracted, choosing the attractive things, that old samskara also should go away. You have to erase that old samskara too. Okay? This needs a certain reorienting your mind, reformulating, reorienting your mind, your samskara, your thinking, your outlook, your interaction. Everything has to be changed. The whole life, vision of life has to change. The whole outlook, interaction, your relationship with the whole universe has to change. All people, all these things, even about yourself also. Your understanding about yourself also has to change. How do you look upon yourself? Your attitude to yourself, your vision of yourself also should change. I am no more an individual looking for these petty things which are tempting and give you some sensations, some emotions, and some intellectual ego satisfactions. All these things are superficial. Superficial and tempting, but a trap only. They give you more pain than pleasure. Though they attract you, they seem to promise you to give you all pleasure and no pain. See, all these worldly pleasures, money, status, honor of the society, the respect in the society, name and fame, celebrity, how people are attracted to celebrities. People think that if I become popular, oh my God, it is a great thing. If everybody knows me, think of me, you feel great. People that you are known to many people, it is a very great attractive thing. That you are in everybody's looks and everybody thinks of you, everybody knows you, you feel great. The name and fame is attractive. Money is attractive. Security is attractive. Certain achievements are attractive, that you have achieved success in life, which nobody has done. People want to go into the Guinness book. People want to take a risky job to do what nobody has done, something rare thing you want to do and become popular that nobody has done it. This gives a kick, ego kick. But I tell you, these are all illusory. And later you will be highly disappointed. This ego satisfaction doesn't last. You have achieved something, you make something and get some ego satisfaction. Later you lose a lot. Okay. So it is a highly disappointing to you. It is a tentatively tempting, and later you lose it. even if you achieve something, even if you achieve something, and how long you can enjoy that? You achieve something, everybody thinks great of you, your name appears in the newspapers and TV, your photo appears, people come to interview you, you become celebrity. But how long you can enjoy that? After some time, that also becomes normal. Okay, now everybody knows me, now it's over. Now what next? So that ego satisfaction also becomes a burden. Now you want to maintain it. The celebrity status, once you get it, you have to maintain it. Then maintaining is another burden, another tension. Now you are worried that if I make one statement, my again headline comes that this so-and-so fellow said like that. You are worried again. You have to be very careful. Where you go, what you do, what you eat, where you sit, everything you have to be very careful. Oh my God, some media must be watching. Somebody might be taking my picture and they will put it in YouTube. Again, I will lose my name. These ego satisfactions, I tell you, is an illusories. Emotional pleasure, egoistic pleasure, sense pleasure. One is a sense pleasure, another is emotional pleasure, third is ego pleasure. All these three are highly tempting, but they are traps, addictions, because they are not your true self. One who is going through these experiences, one who is capable of experiencing these three, sense pleasure, emotional pleasure, and intellectual ego satisfaction, pleasure of ego. These three, a person who is in these three experiences, means experiencer of these three, is not your real nature. It is a false individuality. It is a false individuality. It is not your true individuality. It is not your true nature. And it is a vicious circle. As an experiencer of these three, physical pleasure, emotional pleasure, and the intellectual, that is the ego pleasure. Okay. One who is experiencing these three, once you experience it, once you taste it, you want them more. More you get it, more you seek it. More you get them, more you seek them. Once you get them, you don't feel that now you are satisfied, now I don't need it. No. Once you get it, they are addictive. That's why I say they are addictive. Sense pleasures are really addictive. Emotional pleasure is addictive. Ego satisfaction is addictive. Once you taste it, it wants more. This is called addictive. Addictive means once you get it, it wants more. Now you cannot live without it. You have to run for it, you have to work for it, you have to struggle for it. And getting them again is not easy. Once you love somebody, to maintain that love is not easy. The person will be displeased and they will be displeased and they will leave you. Now you have to do many things. You feel hurt. Wherever there is an emotional relationship, you feel hurt. Or your mood changes. After sometimes you lose interest in the person. Once you lose interest in the person, now earlier you developed a relationship with the person. Now you can't get rid of the person. Then you try to do all kinds of things to get rid of the person. The person doesn't want to leave you. Now it's a headache. See, the emotional relation becomes another bondage. Now you are seeking another emotional relationship, which is not easy. This emotional joy, physical pleasure, emotional joy, and ego satisfaction. All these three are tempting. One who is experiencing these three gets a false illusory pleasure. It is illusory because it doesn't satisfy you. At the same time, it is addicting. You seek more. Once you taste it, you seek more. It doesn't satisfy you, therefore you want more. You think that by getting more, you will become happier. You will become happy by getting more. More you get it, more you end up seeking only. More you get it, there is no total satisfaction in them. There is no maximum satisfaction in them. There is no time that you are totally satisfied with any of them. They keep on pushing you. They keep on making you more, seek more and more and more and more. So they will put you in continuous seeking only, never satisfied. They make you highly dissatisfied, highly frustrated. Therefore, you will be seeking more. This is the fate of human life. Not of you and me, all human life. It's a universal fact. It's a universal fact. So this is the nature of very human nature, human being, because there is a common mistake in all human being. In the very human nature, there is a common mistake. a universal mistake. That I am an individual seeking these pleasures, this itself is the biggest mistake. This is not my true nature. This is not my true nature. But I take this itself to be my nature, my real nature. This is where lies the big mistake, the common mistake, universal mistake. So it is not your personal defect that you have committed this mistake. Nobody has committed. Everybody finds himself in this mistake. It is anadi we call. In Sanskrit we call anadi and naisargika. It is natural. Natural means you have not cultivated it. You have not picked up. You have not made any mistake. You find yourself in this mistake. It is a mistake which is not committed by you. You means all humanity, all human beings, all jivas. Why human beings? Even jivas. Jiva has not committed the mistake. He finds himself in that mistake. It is natural. As long as you are in that mistake, you are an experiencer seeking this sense pleasure, emotional pleasure, and ego pleasure. Ego pleasure means joy of ego, satisfaction of ego. But all these three are illusory. Sense pleasures, emotional joy, and intellectual and ego satisfaction. All these three they seem to give you, but they slip. They seem to give you, they slip. Therefore, they make you seek more and more. They are addictive. They keep seek you more and more. They make you more dissatisfied, more frustrated, more seeking, more frustrated, more seeking. And you cannot live them. They put you in continuous struggle for them. One has to understand this is the nature. People are stuck with these three kinds of pleasures. Okay. The root of why am I stuck to these three kinds of pleasures? All people, educated, illiterate, good and bad, and also in the worldly sense, however great they are, because it's a universal human nature. Okay. So why am I seeking these three pleasures? Why am I stuck to them? Because there is an underlying mistake. That underlying mistake is I am an individual. I am an individual jiva. That an individual jiva, I look at myself through body, a person, embodied person. And means being a person possessed of a body, identify with the body, identify with sense organs, identified with the mind, and identify with intellect. I am the one who identify with these four elements: body, sense organs, mind, and intellect. I am this person. Okay. I am this person, existing as this person. This person is a false entity, is a false nature of me, a false identity. But see, the nature of false identity is such that when I am in this identity, when I have this identity, it doesn't look false. I think this is my real identity. That I am an individual seeking this sense pleasure, emotional joy, and ego satisfaction. These three levels. A person of this nature who is an experiencer, who is doer, and who is a knower, a knowing individual. And karta, bhokta, jnata, we call in Sanskrit. A jnata, a karta, a bhokta. So this individuality is a false individuality. We don't know that it is false, but we take ourselves to be this. It is the Shastra that tells us that this is not your real individuality. It is false individuality. Unfortunately or fortunately, unfortunately you are in this. It is not your own making, note it. This jivahood, this individuality, this false individuality, this underlying mistake is not of your making. Nobody made it. You find yourself in this mistake. Okay. We find ourselves in this mistake of being an individual seeking this sense pleasure, emotional joy, and ego satisfaction. Okay. So seeking these are illusory. My individuality is false, seeking is illusory. Okay. Seeking these three kinds of pleasures is illusory pleasure. And I being an individual is a false entity, false identity. that I am an individual, karta, bhokta, jnata. That is ego. That is an ego, emotional person, and person identify with sense organs. I am enjoyer of a sense pleasure, enjoyer of an emotional pleasure, emotional joy, and intellectual satisfaction. Intellectual satisfaction is in possessing, achieving, dominating. Ego satisfaction is intellectual achievement, power and money, possessiveness. In these things there is an ego satisfaction. Asserting of the ego. In asserting the ego, achievement of the ego, you feel a kind of pride in it. That pride is also ego only. Okay? The pride in power and money and status, that I have achieved something, I am successful in one area, I have been recognized. All this is an intellectual satisfaction, that is ego satisfaction. But that is also illusory, as I told you. I am an individual with these three layers, three parts, three aspects: sense pleasure, emotional relationship, and intellectual satisfaction. That is ego satisfaction. This personality, this individuality consisting of these three aspects is my individuality. This individuality has two aspects. One is individuality is a false identity. Second is I am seeking these three-level pleasures: sense pleasure, emotional relationship, emotional joy. Emotional joy, that is love and other relationship, seeking emotional joy, sense pleasure, and intellectual satisfaction. Okay? These three are illusory pleasures. But they are tempting, but we don't give them up. Keep on getting. We keep seeking them. They are illusory. And illusory and addictive. Illusory and addictive. They are illusory, that's why they are addictive, because they promise, but they don't really fulfill. They only promise. You fail, again they promise. You fail, again they promise. You fail, again they promise. They never stop promising and never stop failing. These worldly pleasures keep on promising to give you all happiness, absolute happiness and peace and absolute. They keep on tempting you, but they fail. Inevitably fail, and but they never fail to promise you. They keep on again tempting, and that's why it is an illusory. But we have failed to understand. We get attracted, because the attraction seems to be more than the reality. We don't look at the reality, we look at their attraction. What is attractive is great. A real wise man doesn't go by attraction, goes by fact. You require maturity. You require an inner strength, spiritual strength. Go by facts, not by attraction. So, what is attractive? It is only attractive, but the attraction is illusory, it's not fact. A fact is not attractive, but fact gives you peace and liberation. Peace and freedom. Peace, happiness, and freedom. Peace is not attractive, but it is based upon fact. Peace is based upon truth. Truth is not attractive. Falsity is highly attractive. So, in attractive level, two things are there. The pleasures which we seek, the individuality we are. We are an individual. We take it for granted. We never question them. We think that this is what I am, an individual. It is a false identity. We never thought that it is a false identity. Nobody told us. Shastra comes and tells us first time that this identity is false. Oh, I never knew. You mean my identity is false? Yes, you are false. Oh my God, there is a true identity, lying deeper in you. You never looked at it. There is a deeper identity, that is Atma. Your deeper identity is Atma. You never looked at it. You look at this individuality, this jivahood is a false identity. Oh, but I thought this is me. Yes, you thought, not only you, everybody thinks. That is universal. This universal identity of jivahood is universal. Jivahood is universal. Nobody has committed this mistake of being jiva. Jivatvam is a mistake, you find yourself with it. It is a universal mistake. Note it. Nobody started it. Nobody gave you. It is a universal mistake. It is mistake because it is a false identity. It will be understood as a false identity later. But this identity is dissatisfying identity. It makes me a seeking person, a wanting person. You want to continue, you are continuously seeking something, seeking, frustrated but never stop seeking. Something you don't know what you want, but you have been seeking. Something you want, something you don't know what exactly it is, but something more satisfying. Shastra says it is freedom you are seeking. It is peace you are seeking. The peace and freedom comes in your real nature, in your real truth, true nature of you. But true nature of you is true nature. What is true nature? What is false nature? How do I know? This present identity, you mean false? Yes, it is false. How? How do I know? Simple, there is a simple test. What is the test? What you are, look at yourself. What is your real nature is unwavering, unchanging, is invariable. What is your real nature is always exists. What is your tentative false nature is only a tentative and it's not always exists with you. That I am an individual. That I am an individual is only an identity in your waking state and dream state. In deep sleep, you have no identity. Your waking identity disappears in dream identity. When you have a dream identity, your waking identity disappears, dissolves. You have no waking identity. So that means your identity drops off and you seem to assume another identity in dream. In dream, you have another identity. You are totally free from this identity. This waking identity drops off itself in dream. And when you come to waking, dream identity drops off. This dream identity, waking identity keep exchanging in the sense keep dismissing each other. Waking identity dismisses dream identity. Dream identity dismisses your waking identity. Ultimately, you are free from both. So you in your real nature, see what is my identity? If it is my real me, I should not change. I should not be able to lose it. I should not be able to get rid of it, but I am able to be free from waking identity. I am not always, I don't find myself all the time in my waking identity. My waking identity is not eternal. Waking identity is lost in dream. Dream identity is lost in waking. But in deep sleep, neither of the two identities I have. I exist all along, but without any waking and dream identity, that individuality. So this proves that I exist without identity. Identity is an assumed one. It is a false one. It is only a thought, not real me. The real me, real identity of me is without any individuality. In deep sleep, I find myself as I am. I have no thought about myself. I have no assumption about myself. I have only existence about myself. In deep sleep, I exist. I don't assume. I have no thought about myself. What am I? You have no thought about yourself. But you exist is definite. That is your real you. Your existence is not brought by thought. A thought doesn't bring it. If a thought doesn't bring your existence. Existence is not due to the thought. Existence is not thought of. Okay? Identity is thought of. Individuality is a thought. Individuality is a thought. Existence is not a thought. Existence exists without thought. Isn't it? Individuality is a thought. Existence is not a thought. You exist without thought. You don't need a thought to be able to exist. You don't need a thought in order to be able, in order to exist. In deep sleep, you exist very much without any thought. That means thought is not your real nature. Existence is you, because existence doesn't need a thought. Existence doesn't need a thought. that real existence is free from my identity. The identity of waking individuality, individuality, identity, both are same. My waking individuality, my dream individuality, both are not natural to me. What is natural cannot be lost. I cannot lose, but I am losing. They disappear from me. Waking identity disappears from me existing. I exist without my identity, waking identity. So waking identity is not me because I lose it. But I lose it, yet I exist. I lose my waking identity, yet I exist. I lose my dream identity, yet I exist. My existence is independent of identity. Identity is a thought. My individuality is a thought. Okay? So independent of thought is my existence. My existence cannot be thought of. If you think it is an individuality alone, all that you can think of is only an individual. Beyond individual, thought doesn't exist. Thought ceases. Thought ceases to be thought. Any thought can only, about you, about myself, there can only a thought of individuality. The maximum I can think of myself is only an individuality. Beyond that, thought doesn't exist. But maximum the thought can think of me is only as an individual. The maximum a thought can think of me. The maximum thought I can entertain about myself. The highest thought, the best thought I can think about myself is I am an individual. I am a waking person. I am a dream person. This is what maximum I can do. Therefore, the thought all the thought can give me is only an individuality. Jivahood alone, all the thought can give me is only an individuality. But my real existence is free from individuality. I don't have to do anything to get rid of the individuality. You watch your life. You watch your experiences with the help of the Shastra. Shastra helps you to watch. Watch yourself in waking, dream and deep sleep. What are you? You are a conscious being. You are being. Being is existence. You are being and conscious. You are a conscious being. Being is just existence, pure existence, unlimited existence, undemarcated, uncircumscribed existence. There is no demarcation. There is no circumscription, but it is a pure existence, limitless. Pure existence, unlimited existence. That is deep sleep. Deep sleep, I exist without any limitation, without any demarcation, without any putting an identity to me. I am so and so. There is no idea of so and so. There is no idea. Without any idea of me, without any notion about me, I exist. The biggest notion, the highest notion I can entertain about myself is individuality. Beyond individuality, beyond notion, I exist. I exist beyond the notion. Notion of individuality. Notion of I. I is a notion. I is a notion. In deep sleep, you have no notion, but you exist as ever. You exist as ever. So this is the real truth. This is the true nature of me. So the true nature is not attractive, but it gives you freedom and peace. Because where you are not bothered, you are not crushed by the notion. But if you have a notion as an individual, you are always... See, notion of individuality is associated with intellect, with mind, with body, with sense organs. Okay? A notion of individuality is always associated with intellect, always associated with mind, associated with sense organs, associated with the body. Without body, sense organs, mind and intellect, you can't entertain a notion of I. You can't entertain a notion of I. You can't entertain a notion of I without a content in the I. In the notion is a content. What is the content? Body is the content. Mind is the content. Intellect is the content. Content means there are elements part of that notion. Notion depends upon these elements. The I notion depends upon these elements. Based upon these elements, based upon body, based upon sense organs, based upon mind, based upon intellect, I can entertain a notion of I. The notion of I depends upon these four factors: body, sense organs, mind and intellect. Okay, in my sense of individuality, which is a notion of I is synonymous to individuality. Notion of I is a sense of individuality. So in that sense of individuality and of notion of I consists of these four elements: body, sense organs, mind and intellect. So in my individuality, these four elements, I keep fluctuating between these four. I keep moving between these four. Sometimes all the four, sometimes three, sometimes two, sometimes one. But one of these four always exists: body, sense organ, mind, intellect. One of the four is inevitable. Sometimes two, sometimes three, sometimes all the four. Okay, so the sense of I, that notion of I, is always accompanied by one of these four, or all the four. One or more of these four, let us say, that is better expression. One or more of these four. One or more of these four are form the basis for my I notion. And once I entertain this notion of I, which is I don't consciously entertain, I find myself in that notion. When I am awake, I find myself in that notion of individuality. I have not chosen. I have no choice to be an individual. I find myself to be an individual. I am not making a choice of I notion. I notion is choiceless. I find myself stuck with I notion. That I am, that I notion of I is there with me. I have not chosen. I find myself with it. So as a waking person, I am an individual with a notion of I. Individual with a notion of I based upon body, mind and sense organs and intellect. I get related to the external world. As an individual, I am always related to the external world. Individuality cannot exist without the world. Okay? An individual is a subject. Subject always depends on object. It is always related. Notion of I is always related to this. I, this. The notion of I is always accompanied by this. Without this, there can't be only notion of I. Okay? The notion of I is always in association with this. This is world. That one this appears in multiple forms called world. All world can be reduced to one thought, that is thought of this. Thought of this. One thought of this alone appears in multiple forms, in manifold forms, that's called world. The manifold are only appearances, but the common appearance of all of them is this. This is a common experience. Then remaining all other things are variety, difference of the way in this alone. See, book when you see this, table when you see this is table, this is book and this is wall and this is a human being. Anything you see, one common thought underlying all of this is this. The idea of this, the notion of this is common to all the entire manifold world. Okay? The manifold world comes under one thought, can be reduced to one thought of this. The entire world is brought under one thought of this, one notion of this. Okay? The entire me is brought under one notion of I. The I can be a body based, the I notion can be sense based, I notion can be mind based, I notion can be intellect based. It may be based upon one of them, two of them, more than one, or all the four. But the I notion is common in all these four. The this notion is common in the entire world. Okay, I and this are together one notion. In fact, I notion and this notion, they are two sides of the same coin, two sides of the same paper. Of the same paper has got two sides. This and I, they are interconnected, interdependent. They are not two separate. I notion and this notion. Okay, when there is a this notion, I notion is inevitable. When there is a I notion, this notion is inevitable, because I and this are not two notions. They are only two sides of one notion. Okay, I and this are two sides of one notion. And this notion I find in waking state and dream state. This is choiceless. I have not chosen, but I find myself in this I notion. When I have I notion, I have got this notion that is called world. World and me put together is one waking state. Okay? But so Shastra says that you watch yourself. This is a false entity. This is a false identity of you, and there is a false relationship with the other world. You have a false notion about yourself. So that false notion has got a false relationship, false temptations from the world. Okay. If a person understands these things, he becomes mature. I say, let me not go for it. I want to understand what is my real me. The real me is you. The real you is you, that you which doesn't change in you, which never changes in you. This I notion gets dropped, gets erased in waking. This I notion disappears in dream. Dream I notion disappears in waking. So these two notions mutually negate. They dismiss each other. Waking I notion dismisses dream because it replaces. You can't have these two notions simultaneously. Waking I notion and dream I notion, you can't have simultaneously. They are not same notion, note it. Waking notion is not the same as dream. Dream I notion is not the same as waking. They replace each other. They only replace. That means it can be replaced. It is not true. What is true always remains with you. It doesn't always remains with you. You can lose it and stand without it. You can stand without waking I notion. You can stand without dream I notion. That means you can stand without any notion in deep sleep. Deep sleep is you. Deep sleep is not an another state. It is very much you. Standing without a notion, without an I notion is deep sleep. Deep sleep is very much me, my being, my existence. My being, my essential being, my real nature. I stand without any demarcation, without any circumscription, without any idea of what I am, without any notion of myself. That means I can stand without I notion. That is me. That means you can't use the word I. The I word is too small. It applies to only waking and dream state. So there is a real me which is beyond I notion. I notion doesn't reach there. It goes up to some point and drops off. So my my existence is beyond I notion. What the I notion can point out is very limited, a small part of me. The I notion can only circumscribe a small part of me, but real me is much more beyond I notion. My existence is much more beyond I notion. I exist beyond the I notion. I notion only encompasses a small part of me, a small, very insignificant part of me. The real me is much broad, much beyond. It extends beyond the I notion. So the I notion I can get rid of and stand. Stand as what? No nameless. No name. It is nameless existence. It is direct experience. It is self-existence. You don't need a name. Name is too far. You don't need a name. It is much nearer than name, nearer than notion. It is without name, without notion. It is notionless and nameless. I am not using Sanskrit words, but all this is only what is taught in Vedanta. I am putting in English terms. All this is Vedanta only. So nameless, notionless, that means beyond thought and beyond avang manasa gochara, beyond notion, beyond name. I stand beyond notion, beyond name. Okay? And that means it is something you don't need a name. You don't need a notion, because it is much intimate to me. It is so close to me, it is very much me. It is self-shining. It is self-existing. Therefore, I stand without a notion, I notion without a name and without notion. That is real me. So that real me has no attraction, but it is a fact. That gives me real peace, that liberates me, and that gives me freedom gives me freedom from all sufferings, all limitations, all fears, fear of death and fear of worry, fear of tension, all problems. It releases me from all problems. It gives me eternal peace, a natural peace, not a worked up peace, not a brought up peace, not an acquired peace, not a brought up peace, not appended, attached peace. It is a natural peace. It is not an acquired peace. It is not an appended, it is not an appendage. It is very much me. Me and peace are inseparable at that stage. The real nature of Atma is peace. Peace and Atma are not two things. It is not that Atma gets peace. Atma is peace. Peace is Atma, Atma is peace. They are not two things. They are two words for the same one experience, one entity, one existence. Therefore, that is real me. Okay? So, here that's what he says in 29th shloka. Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. Time is up. So, okay, we'll discuss it in the next Sunday. Hereafter, we will revive our Sunday classes. All depends upon my health. My health is now, seems to be better now. At least I have got this much of strength to be able to speak for 1 hour. If I can speak 1 hour, it's, I tell you, a great achievement. Great, great, great. It was impossible even to speak for half an hour. I would become too tired. Today I'm able to speak 1 hour. It's a wonder for me. Even I'm surprised. So speaking for 1 hour is a great strength. I don't know how I got it. Anyway, hereafter we'll continue regularly. All other classes, I hope, will continue. Okay, if there is no other disturbance other than health. Okay, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So this 29th shloka of 6th chapter, because we are doing 2 GIta classes. One is in Telugu, another is in English. The Telugu's classes are on Monday, and then English tomorrow, that is Monday. And English GIta classes are on Sunday. On Sunday, GIta class will be in English. There we are covering the 6th chapter, 29th shloka. And the 20th shloka in Telugu, that's on Monday. Okay, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.